Hello, we are on week 13 of our CSA share, so we are officially halfway through. It is week A, so if you're a half share and an A week pickup, this is your week. This should be kind of quick, a lot of repeat items, but I'm gonna go over what we received in our shares this week, how to store each item, and some ideas of how to use them. One quick announcement, we still have bulk plum tomatoes, so we're getting plum tomatoes in our shares this week, but there are bulk available. You don't need to pre-order them. We have 5-pound bags for, I think they're $12 each, and then we have 25-pound boxes for $35. So those are available this week. Plum tomatoes are kind of coming to an end, so we're hoping they're also available next week as well. But definitely available for pickup on Thursday. So if you want those and want to preserve them, we've posted a lot of information about preserving the tomatoes on the Facebook group, so refer to that. A lot of people are making sauces. We have the slow roasted tomatoes that are excellent. I highly recommend that recipe that Trisha posted, so try that out as well. All right, so let's start with our tomatoes since we're already talking about them. We got 2 pounds of heirlooms, 2 pounds of red beefsteak, and a quart of plums. All of our tomatoes stay on the counter, so we don't want to refrigerate them. They can be used in salsas, they can be used in sauces, they can be used just sliced. They're delicious, just simply sliced and with a little bit of sea salt on them. So you can use them as snacks. You can use them as sides. We can roast them. You can slow roast them. So refer to that recipe on the Facebook group and also on the YouTube channel if you want to slow roast any of the tomatoes. That recipe refers to our plum tomatoes, but you can do it with any of them. It just might, your timing might alter a little bit depending on size. We also have, so those are all countertop items. We also have our cherries that we picked, so we can pick 2 quarts of these. These are probably out of all of the things gonna last the longest. They are wonderful on salads. I just like to take a bowl or a container of them to work with me and just eat them as a snack. They're delicious. They're super sweet. We pick them right from the vine or the plants, so you're getting them as fresh as possible. These also stay on the counter, so we don't want to refrigerate any of our tomatoes. If you do slice the tomato, then obviously that does go in the fridge because it's gonna, we want to cover it and put it in the fridge and use it within a day. There's been a couple mentions of sheet pan meals. So if you're doing a sheet pan meal, basically the idea is you throw everything on a big pan, cook it in the oven, and then you serve it. So there's a lot of items that you could throw in a sheet pan meal. We have our onions and our summer squash and our tomatoes and potatoes, our peppers. So all of those items can be thrown on sheet pan meals. So you can kind of wing it, or you can go online and Google sheet pan meals and get some ideas. Generally, you can leave it like that and just do a mixed roasted vegetable, or you can throw a protein in. So totally optional what you do, but they're nice and easy and super easy cleanup, super easy prep. So think about doing that if you wanna jump in and use a lot of the produce. The other option that we have a lot of things that can be used for is our grilled packets. So refer back to that blog post. It was earlier in the season. I can't remember exactly what I used for that, but you can change it up. So as the seasons change and we get new produce, put different things in. So we have the onions, we have the peppers, we have the zucchini. Those are all items, the potatoes, that can be thrown in those grill packets. So just adjust that recipe according, but that's another easy way, and then you're not using your oven, so you're keeping the heat in the house down a little bit. All right, so besides our tomatoes, we got a different variety of new potatoes. So these are still new potatoes. They have purple skins. We want to store them in the fridge. Lots of recipes. You can roast them, you can grill them. Refer to the blog. There's smashed potatoes. There's a recipe where the zucchini is combined with the potatoes. You can do a potato crusted quiche. I know that's on the blog. So lots of great things there, or you can throw them in the grill package. You can throw them on sheet pan meals. So those are super easy to use. And they'll last for a little while. They're just not cured like our potatoes that we buy in the store. So we want to store them in the fridge. We have sweet onions again. So our sweet onions are cured. So we want to store them in a cool, dry place away from potatoes. So the potatoes give off moisture and they will make our onions not last as long. So we want to keep them in 2 separate locations. Sweet onions, great to eat raw, great to also grill or saute or roast. This week's recipe will showcase these sweet onions. So if you want to hold off until Thursday, that recipe will be posted. And we'll use these guys for the recipe. Okay, we also got to pick edamame. So we got to pick 2 quarts of the edamame. We want to pick, so I just posted a photo comparing. We want to pick the fat pods. So the ones that are really easy to see that the beans inside are nice and fat. Not the flat ones. The flat ones we want to save for next week or the following week. There's a picture, a good descriptive picture explaining the difference. The pods of these are furry or fuzzy. That's exactly how they're supposed to be. We don't eat the pod. So basically, we're eating the inside of these. I like to just steam them, do a quick steam, like 5 minutes, sprinkle them with sea salt, and then my kids snack on them. So to know that they're done, like these are the ones that I just steamed, you want to squeeze them and the inside bean should pop right out. If it does, they're done. So it's like a quick 5-minute steam, super easy. Sprinkle them with sea salt, keep them in the fridge, bring them out, and snack on them. My kids like to take them as a snack. So whether they're going out and playing or I throw them on the table before dinner, they're a quick, easy snack to just have already prepped. So I already steamed a bunch of them and just left this bowl to show you guys. All right, so we have those. Those are stored in the fridge. So if you're not cooking them right away or using them right away, stored in a plastic bag in the fridge until you're ready to use them. We have ground cherries, so we've had these a while. You should be used to getting them. We're picking them from the ground. Husks should be brown. These are stored in the fridge in the husks until we're ready to use them. And lots of ideas for these on the blog and the Facebook group. So they're great for baking, muffins, breads, pies, tarts. They're also great to just throw on a salad. They're great to just eat and snack on the way they are. So you're gonna open them up and eat the inside. The husk gets thrown away or composted. So nice and easy to use those. Stored in the fridge. All right, we have some more summer squash. So summer squash has been around for a while, so same idea. We're gonna store those in the fridge. In the crisper drawer, ideally. You can simply grill them. You can roast them. You can throw them in the grill packets. You can throw them on a sheet pan meal. We had a couple of neat posts the past few days. There was and I'm not exactly sure what they called them, but Parmesan zucchini crisps, I think were the one. That was really neat, and basically you're just making those like Parmesan crisps with zucchini included, so I thought that was a neat recipe and something different to use the zucchini for. And then there was also a zucchini, I think it was like a zucchini cheddar or zucchini cheese tot. So it was zucchini and cheeses making up like a tater tot. Instead of potatoes, they're using zucchini. So that was also a neat recipe. And those are look for those right on the Facebook group. So those are different ideas. We've had summer squash for a while. So if you need to change it up, refer to the blog or refer to our Facebook groups for some neat ideas. We have peppers this week. So we have green peppers, same as last week, stored in the fridge until you're ready to use. Cubanelle peppers, stored in the fridge until you're ready to use. Both can be eaten raw, also can be cooked, roasted, grilled, thrown on salads. So lots of easy ways to use those up. Running out of room here. We also had a chance to pick hot peppers. There were 4 varieties. There were jalapenos, poblanos, serranos. I forgot the 4th one. Sorry. Cayenne. I picked jalapenos because they happen to be my favorite, and I just have a lot of things that I like to do with them. So I grabbed 3 jalapenos this week, but you can grab all different varieties. You can grab 3 of the same variety. These can be used raw. Any of our hot peppers can be used raw to add spice to a dish. If you want to lessen the amount of spice, you're going to take out the seeds and the flesh from the inside and just use the skin. That will reduce your amount of spice that you're adding to any dish. There's my favorite thing to do with jalapenos is the jalapeno honey that's on the blog. I actually think you can use any hot pepper. I just tend to use jalapenos. You can actually dehydrate these. You can pickle them. You can do a quick pickle. You can candy them. I've never done that, but Google it and you can see what that entails. So these are stored in the fridge just like our other peppers until you're ready to use them. All right, so we have lots of peppers, lots of tomatoes, potatoes, edamame, ground cherries, summer squash, onions. We received a watermelon. This watermelon is red and is seedless. Thursday's group might get a different variety depending on what's available. Our watermelon we want to put in the fridge until you're ready to use. Sounds like most people are just kind of slicing this up or cutting it in half and eating it just the way it is because it's so super sweet and yummy. But you can make cocktails out of it, you can juice it, you can cube it, add it to salads. I've seen a couple different things where you kind of make a watermelon stack with other items in it. Watermelon and jalapeno go really good together, especially if you're creating some sort of cocktail. So feel free to get creative in that avenue as well. Spaghetti squash. So we've talked about this before too. This is the last item you want to use this week because it lasts for months. We want to store it in a cool, dry place. Not necessary that you use it right away, although one of the most recent recipes I posted, which was a garlic herb spaghetti squash, is absolutely delicious. I saved my spaghetti squash from last week and plan to make a double of that recipe, just because one wasn't enough for my family of 5. That's how good it was. So you can cut this up into rounds, which is how I like to cook it. You can also cook it whole. It just takes a little bit longer, or you can slice it in half and cook it that way. So lots of ways to use it. It is a great alternative to pasta. So we have all these tomatoes. You can make a homemade sauce and cook the spaghetti squash and use that as your pasta. You can also do like a vegetable, I want to say like a pasta salad, but instead of using pasta, using the spaghetti squash as well, kind of like a cold salad. So that's a different way to use the spaghetti squash. Obviously it would be cooked, shredded, and then put in the fridge to cool down, and then you would create the rest of the salad. All right, so our 2 items, I think the only 2 items I have left are basil. So basil we want to store on the counter in a glass of water. So I already took the rubber band off, put it in a glass of water so it was nice and healthy and hydrated. Basil does not like the refrigerator. It does not like to be cold. Basil pairs really well with tomatoes. So caprese salad, pestos, awesome in pesto. And I still have basil from a few weeks ago, so I actually might make a pesto. And I've been freezing my pestos into ice cube trays, the larger ice cubes, and then pulling those out when I need them, and it makes for an easy use of the pesto, and it preserves really well. The last item and new item that we're super excited for is our sweet corn. So we got six ears of sweet corn. These you want to store in the fridge. And ideally, we want to use these within the first few days. Because they're now off the plants, over the next few days, they'll be really good. And then after that, if they start to lose their sweetness and become more starchy. So they're gonna be best within the next probably 2 to 3 days. So try to put these on your menu for one of the next nights. If not, if you're not ready to use them, cook them, cut them off the cobs, and freeze it. So it's also freezable, and you can preserve it for the winter or for later. We actually can eat corn raw, so you do not have to cook it. We generally do, just because that's what we're used to. But you can take it right off take the husks off and bite into it and eat it, or you can cut it right off the cobs and put it into a salad. It does not need to be cooked. If you are gonna cook it, you can steam it, you can boil it, you can grill it. So lots of options there. I love grilling it, or sometimes if we're not home and we're up at the lake, we will throw it on like a bonfire, which is a fun way to cook it as well. I think that's it. A lot of repeat items, and really the only new item we have is the corn. So if there's any questions on how to use any of the items, if you're really getting stuck, if you have, again, remember, if you have items left from last week or the previous week, that's your first focus. Use those up first. And then second, focus on some of the items from this week. Your spaghetti squash, obviously, you don't need to worry about initially. Probably your watermelon within the next few days, and your corn within the next few days, just because that sweetness will change as we get through the week. Your onions are pretty good for a while, and stay tuned for a recipe for that on Thursday. So any questions and any things you're really getting stuck with, please post on our Facebook group or reach out to me. I can kind of help and guide to get you to use those and to try different recipes. Please continue to share on our Facebook group. I've been spotlighting all of our recipes that are shared on Sundays, and also doing the shout out post when anyone shares. So refer to those, and it kind of goes through the week on what was shared and what was loved, and it kind of helps each of us use the items and focus on how we can use them differently. So it's always fun to use them differently and not use the same thing over and over again. All right, thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys again next week for week 14.